welcome to the X Factor podcast. This is the lost episode.
Yes.
When I say lost episode, look no further than bottom square if you're watching on YouTube. I'd love to say that it wasn't his fault, but we all know it was his fault, don't we, JR?
It is, sadly. The DFE let us down.
Yeah, it stands for deleter of fucking everything. He deleted the episode on X Factor Cities, which was an episode, number one, where I was on fire.
Yes.
You were on fire. It was one of our best episodes.
Absolutely.
So I'd like to issue a disclaimer to all of our listeners, and especially to the P1 listener, Sarah Swenson, who recommended X Factor Cities. This lost recording right here, or the do-over, should we say, part deux, will be inferior to the original.
Yes. Because
we were both, it was fire episode. And I don't think we can recreate that kind of magic, John, unless you and I were, I don't know, spooning. You know, so blame Parker. Parker, what's your Twitter handle? This is the only time I'm allowing you to speak this episode, by the way.
Should be Parker the DFE.
At Parker the DFE on Twitter.
Yes.
Send your rage and your hate tweets. Hashtag cancel Parker. And let's see what we can have happen. So, Parker. I will explain to you two things, and I'm going to explain to the audience two things. I got a wonderful text. This is issue number 1, and this issue is brought to you by Bottom Gun Coffee. This grievance being filed by a P1 listener is brought to you by our friends at bottomguncoffee.com. Go there, get yourself the breakfast blend and the dark roast.
Yes.
Yeah, Bill just sent me a pound of each. I didn't know whether to put in my coffee maker or roll around naked in it. It smelled so good. Anyway, this text that I'm about to read to you from P1 listener Sarah Swenson says, "Good morning, sunshine. A few random X Factor thoughts." And she sent this on Friday. Number 1, X Factor yard games would make for a great topic, as would X Factor board games, which I totally agree.
Yes.
And I said, hell yes, that sounds great. Did you see you got a shout out in the X Factor Cities episode? No, she didn't, because that's the deleted episode, Parker.
Oh, no.
Anyway, she says, and I'm reading directly here, "Why did you guys fall off the face of the Apple podcasting world? I had to switch over to watching you on YouTube."
Oh.
So first of all, I want to apologize that you have to look at our faces instead of just listen to us. I responded with, "What?" And she's like, "Yep, last one on Apple on iTunes was April 28th. And I very well could not be finding it correctly, but it doesn't come up in my new episode list anymore." So that's all you need to know. If it doesn't come up on your new episode list anymore, we have a problem. So I immediately go to my phone and check my podcasts.
Right.
I said, "Nope, you're correct. Thanks for the heads up. We don't exactly have the sharpest intern/producer in the world."
Oh, no.
So she responds with, "Well, I didn't mean to get Parker in trouble." Look at him. He's ducking his head, bowing his head in shame, like a little dog that just peed on the rug. He's getting yelled at. "I didn't mean to get Parker in trouble, but I do like at least see you guys on iTunes, and I do like to see you guys on YouTube, but if there's a new episode out there, I want to listen to it so it stays in my rotation."
Yeah.
Therein lies the problem. So, she wrote, which also leads to another episode topic. How about X Factor leadership styles? So, and she responded with, "You can tell him all the P1s, except for the California guy, are revolting because he didn't do his job." She knows James Elliott way too well. He will, feign outrage. It'll be faux outrage, just designed for everyone's humor and entertainment, which I love about him, but I don't think he's capable of really getting mad at Chip. I mean, Parker. I mean, the leader of freaking everything. I mean, studio boy. Anyway, I don't think James can really get mad at Parker.
No.
And I think Sarah's got him pegged. That's awesome. So she says maybe Parker should check his penis.
Oh no, she said that?
Or no, is she saying that about James? She might be saying that about James because she said the California guy might not revolt. So now we have P1 on P1 crime taking place via text with me when this is supposed to be about our challenges with Parker doing simple things correctly. So I said I will do that and do so publicly. As far as Parker's concerned, checking his penis, he's officially a eunuch at this point on this show.
Oh, I thought he was unique. It's eunuch?
Eunuch. That would be EUNUCH.
Oh, man.
Oh,
so her suggestion, and I swear to God, Parker, if you want to keep your job, you will do this. I think you should personally handwrite apology notes to each of us. But lucky for you, we only have like 10 listeners. That shouldn't take you long.
Yeah, it wouldn't take that long.
A couple postcards. Yeah.
Oh, gosh.
Wow.
I said I am going to make him do that. And there you have the saga surrounding the lost episode, which we're recording right now, and you're listening to right now. It's called X Factor Cities.
Yes. The lost city recording. That's what this is.
John, you are a what I would call a world traveler. What are some of your, before we go X Factor, what are some of your favorite cities you've been to?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question.
I mean, you saw most of them underwater in a submarine, but it's a bit of technicality.
Most of the cities I saw were from a periscope, so we didn't get to go visit them. I've been to a lot of islands that I didn't get a chance to get off the boat. We just drop people off or pick people up. We never got to actually enjoy or see anybody. So
you say you had a chance to get off at a lot of islands?
No, we didn't get. We had to stay on the boat. So
because that sounds kind of kinky.
Well, I didn't say Epstein's Island. So just
okay.
There, yeah.
Just you better pray, hope and pray that Ghislaine does not hand over the flight log to the feds and it doesn't have your name on it.
Yes, absolutely.
Your name's probably on there between Clinton and Trump and Bill Gates.
Yes.
So, cities. What are some of your favorites you've been to?
Well, it's kind of funny. I, being a New Englander, I've always enjoyed Boston, right? I always thought I was a Boston guy. And I took my family reluctantly on a trip to New York City and absolutely had a blast. Yeah, it was like I lost a bet. My family wanted to see New York City. I wanted to take them to the Boston area. They wanted to go to New York City. And it turns out New York City was amazing. We had a great time. Then 2 years later, I took them to Boston and we didn't have as good a time. So my home city.
Where'd you go in New York City?
We went everywhere in New York City. I mean, obviously hit all the tourist attractions and all the pizza joints and, saw a Broadway play and, all that fun stuff. We really enjoyed our time there. Got to see, the 9/11 memorial and all that fun stuff. So yeah, it turns out it was an amazing place and the people were extremely friendly. And of course, this is before, chaos erupted throughout the world. But back then it was a safe city. People were very friendly, enjoyed myself, had some amazing food, amazing pizza. And so New York City ended up being, one of my favorite cities because of that trip. And Boston, man, we just did not compare, unfortunately. And we even included a Red Sox game, an evening Red Sox game against the Yankees and all that just didn't even measure up. So
now I know you're lying.
Sadly, it didn't measure up. And I'm from there. So that was sad. Yeah. How about you, Coach Brew? What kind of cities really stand out in your mind?
Well, my absolute favorite city I'll save because I think it's X Factor.
Yes.
But I would say that, one of my favorite places is, any major city in Texas because it just has, and when we do X Factor states, that might be my X Factor state. No matter where you go in the state of Texas, there's incredible barbecue.
Yes.
No matter where you go in the state of Texas, there is an incredible vibrant live music scene.
Yes.
They have their own radio chart for country music. Like they don't just do the Billboard chart like the rest of the country. Texas really is kind of its own country. I love Austin because of they have a surprisingly rich comedy scene.
Oh yeah.
Barbecue, if not the best barbecue in Texas. It's just cool, entertaining city. There's a lot of culture. Great restaurants. Shout out Eddie V's Prime Steak and Seafood. My best friend in high school is the executive chef there. Shout out
nice.
Chef Chris Bauer. It's just anywhere in Texas is fun. It's 2021, so I will say I identify as Texan.
Yes.
And then I would have to say, if you're looking to riot or loot without consequence, Seattle, I hear, is a beautiful place to do that.
Nice place for that. Yeah.
You can create your own autonomous zone.
That's nice.
A Chaz, if you will, I believe is the term. And then, if you just want to randomly get shot, even though they have the strictest gun laws in the country, go to Chicago. I hear that is a great place to get double tapped between the eyes.
Yes. Yeah. Is that what happened to Lori Lightfoot, or what's wrong with her eyes? There seems something wrong there.
I think someone just hit her really hard in the back of the head, and they just popped out like an alligator popping up out of the water.
It's sad. I don't like to make fun of the way people look, but she has a very strange look. You got to admit, she's a very strange looking person.
We're going to make fun of the way she behaves. How about this? Okay. Race baiting. I know this is X Factor Cities, but you started this. I'm going on a freaking tangent. Did you see her announcement in the media that she will only accept one-to-one interviews by people of color who are journalists?
I saw that, yeah.
You can't be Asian. You can't be Caucasian. You can't be any other nationality. You have to be a person of color to interview her.
Yeah.
She's married to a Caucasian woman. Is she not allowed to speak? She's married to a Caucasian woman. Is she not allowed to speak to her wife at the dinner table? Her wife can't ask her questions. I'm sorry, no questions from you, wife. You're Caucasian. It's the most 2021 thing ever.
It is, yeah.
So anyway, yes, go to Chicago if you'd like to get shot. Murdered, maybe. If you want to save your family the trouble of, if you're terminally ill, you want to save your family the trouble of burying you, just take a trip to Chicago, wander the mean streets, and you'll get shot and you'll be left for dead, and people probably won't even find the corpse. So there's that. But in all seriousness, you want to know what cities I think get a bad rap?
Yeah. What do you think?
And I'm not talking like big cities. I mean, like small cities. There are some beautiful places in New Jersey. When you think of New Jersey, you think of power lines, toxic waste dumps, and Newark. And Newark. It is the Garden State. It is a very green, beautiful state in much of the state. Jersey Shore, beautiful. The western side of the state where it abuts Pennsylvania and the Pocono Mountains, also beautiful.
Yes.
Northern New Jersey, Sussex County, beautiful. Horse farms. People think the state bird is the mosquito and there are power lines everywhere. That's not the case. It's just what you see when you get off, get out of the airport and you step off the airplane. It's a beautiful place. I went to college there. I loved it there. Upstate New York, same thing. Canandaigua, New York is beautiful.
Yep.
The Finger Lakes, all the wineries. I would retire there. There's some really beautiful parts of the country. I'm not a world traveler like you, so if I reference, cities I enjoy, I'm about as American as red, white, and blue hot dog shaped fireworks on the 4th of July.
Yeah.
So I'm going to reference American cities. That's my feeling. So
I've been all over the world, but I always like coming back here. There's only one America.
That's correct.
Yeah.
So, most American thing in the world besides red, white, and blue hot dog shaped fireworks on the 4th of July, John, what would you say?
I go for apple pie. I mean, apple pie to me is a classic American thing. You know,
You're so basic. That's so basic.
it is.
Yeah, it's low hanging fruit. Come on, man. What you got?
The mullet. The mullet is a very American thing. The mullet with some pit viper sunglasses and a mullet, that is an ultimate American look that you can only get here. No one else in the world would ever dare to dress like that or look like that.
I'm going to say second most American thing ever behind red, white, and blue hot dog shaped fireworks on the 4th of July would be a McDonald's inside a Walmart.
Yep. Yep.
Right?
Yeah. Nope. Yeah.
I mean,
Nothing says,
either that or like police brutality and crushing student loan debt.
yes. Oh, that fits perfect too. Absolutely. Yeah.
Well, it fits certain people's narratives perfectly. So, name one other city that you enjoy, John, because like you can't be a New Englander and say New York City. Someone's just going to absolutely crush you for that.
No,
and I'm trying to spare you the shame.
Oh, I hate to say that, but it is true. And but you know,
You're digging yourself. The number one rule of holes. I thought you were a leadership expert. Number one rule of holes is when you're in one, stop digging.
Stop digging. I would say
You're with the New Englanders on that. Listen, you're in a hole.
Oh, I know, and I know I am.
Stop.
I
name another city outside of the East Coast. Outside of the East Coast, go.
Wait. I was about to do an East Coast city. Oh
no,
it's outside
no.
East Coast. Sorry. New Orleans. New Orleans is my other favorite city. I love going to New Orleans. I just enjoy. I enjoy.
You enjoy lifting up your shirt and getting beads, don't you?
That is an advantage of going there. Absolutely.
You're like, look at these pecs. Look at these pecs. I did chest today.
I do love the food. I love the music. I love the energy. I love the beignets and the cafe au lait and all that. I absolutely.
Excuse me, waitress. Excuse me, waitress. Can you put pre-workout in my hurricane?
Oh man, have you had hurricanes in New Orleans?
I've never been to New Orleans. I like hurricanes, but I've never been to New Orleans.
You haven't been to New Orleans? Oh.
No, I mean, I've been to Epcot Center, and you do like the around the world thing, and go order a hurricane at the bar. So yeah, I guess technically I've been to New Orleans because I went to Epcot.
You went to Epcot, so you went there. Yeah, absolutely. No, what's the famous? There's one famous place down there that do the hurricanes. I can't remember the name of the bar, but you have two of those.
Katrina?
No, it's not Katrina.
Hurricane Katrina is that what you're thinking of? Hurricane Irma? Which one?
Right.
Which one destroyed the city? That's the
that's
famous hurricane you're thinking of ordering.
Yeah. It's of course there's people, everybody listening to the show knows the bar I'm talking about. It's very famous. But anyways, you have two of those hurricanes and you're done for the night. That's about it.
Kind of like you when you're sipping bourbon on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm not drinking bourbon.
Two of them and you're done.
Yeah,
you're all hopped up on Diet Mountain Dew today, aren't you, big fella?
No. I'm drinking. Oh yeah, I am drinking Diet Mountain Dew. It is the weekend. I drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew on the weekend. I have a caffeine addiction. All right, and I blame the Navy for it making me addicted to caffeine. So,
hey Parker.
Yeah.
We're gonna let you speak now. So when you went on your mission trip and left the Amish village in Lancaster, what city did you get assigned to? You had to spend a year on a mission, right?
San Juan.
I'm thinking of the Mormons, not the Amish. They go on a year-long mission, right, John?
They do. We just saw some yesterday. On just they're wearing the white shirts and the black ties and they're walking house to house. We saw a couple yesterday, so on their mission work. One of them looked like he could have been in the 600-pound life, but anyways, I've never seen a fat Mormon before. But
do you think they assigned him to your area because like the distance between houses is really great?
Yeah,
he has a lot of walking. He's going to walk off that weight before he returns to Provo or Salt Lake City or wherever.
I've never seen one. I've never seen someone, like a young person doing that work that was overweight. So it kind of stood out. So
So Parker, you went to San Juan on your mission.
Yeah.
Is that one of your favorite cities? Have you
San,
been to any of the cities?
I've been to a few, but yeah, San Juan's definitely in Puerto Rico. That's like one of my San Juan, Old San Juan. Those are the
Why
those
is
are
that?
It's just beautiful out there. It's awesome. The people are great. Like the environment's awesome. It's really cool. Yeah, it's a lot cheaper there too. Like
Isn't
really
it part
cheap.
of the U.S. though?
Huh?
Isn't it part of the U.S.? Don't they use the U.S. dollar? How's everything cheaper?
I don't know. Like for instance, if you go to like a bar or something, a beer is not like $3. You can get a beer for like $1. You can get a shot for like $1. Like you can go grab like a full plate of food for like I don't know.
It, if I could get a beer for $3 at a bar, I'd be thrilled.
Yeah, true,
Up
true.
here,
I
yeah.
can't even get a gallon of gas for $3.
Now I sure could go for some mean tweets and $1.98 gas right about now.
Seriously,
Uh,
right?
so we're talking X Factor cities. John, what is your absolute X Factor city?
So I have chosen an X Factor city that never came to be.
Is it like Narnia? Some city under the sea? Like where did Aquaman live?
Atlantis? I don't know. Did he live?
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
he had
is
a
that your
girlfriend.
X Factor city? Because you could
Yeah,
travel there
no,
with a submarine.
no, it's not. Though it would have went well with our episode on Disney princesses, right? I did pick the mermaid.
Yep.
We haven't run that one yet. Someday
No,
you're gonna.
that one got deleted too.
Yeah,
Um,
That was a good. I was on fire on that one. I think that's a good episode.
that
you were
one's
even sober for that
that
one.
one's that one's come
I
that
was
one's the
actually
next one to
sober.
come out.
No,
Yeah.
I'm going to talk about a city that never came to be.
Okay.
So let me tell you the name of the city. The name of the city was the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow.
How can you do that? That'd be like saying, okay, Brew, we're doing X Factor peoples. I'm going to tell you, my X Factor person was actually a. Like, you can't do that. It never came to
Wait,
be.
I can.
My
can
X
do
Factor
this.
person is an. Like, you can't do that.
I can. You know why?
The city, the experimental what?
There is no rules on a pirate ship. When did you when did we start having rules of this place?
Well, rule number one: don't delete the episodes. We
Oh,
have
that's a good
rules.
rule.
People just don't follow them around here.
That's not what
Yeah, that's a
happened.
good rule. We
though.
should do that rule from now on. No deleting episodes, because
So you have much like you have imaginary friends and voices
Yes.
in your head. You have an imaginary city that never existed, which is apparently X Factor.
Yes, it's called the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow. And the reason why this is X Factor is that it was a concept for a planned community, and it was developed by Walt Disney back in 1960. He envisioned this city where it was almost like a utopian city. And now, if you remember, I think we talked about this when we talked about Disney World on a past episode, but the first park that Walt Disney did was in Disneyland, and he had a small piece of property where he built Disneyland.
Yep.
And it didn't take too long until it was surrounded by just urban sprawl. So cheap t-shirt places, motels, kind of just seedy.
You say that like those things are a bad thing.
I'm not saying they're a bad thing, but
And if I want to pay $40 for an airbrush T-shirt of my face, I could do that there.
That's worth it. But he was upset of what happened around his, this park. So he developed this concept called the Experimental Prototype Community of Tomorrow, also known as Epcot. You might think that you remember where that came from, but it wasn't Epcot like we know it today. It wasn't a park. It was actually a city. Yeah.
It never came to be.
It never came to be. And
So basically, he said, my city, my choice.
Yes.
My city, my choice. I'm choosing not to keep it.
Right.
Yeah.
That's
Okay.
similar.
Yep.
So, but his purpose, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow, this purpose was to be a real city that would never cease to be a living blueprint of the future. It was meant to be a utopian city. It was completely controlled by Walt Disney himself. It had commercial, residential, industrial, recreational centers. Everything was connected by a mass transportation system. Utilities were underground. It was a beautiful place with parks and places for people to walk, places for people to play and shop. It was this idyllic city, idyllic environment that he wanted
And
to
he
create.
did away with this?
He did not. So
but it never happened. So this is one of the reasons why we need to defund planned prototypes.
well, there's more to the story. So he had this design. He went public with it. They were talking about buying a major piece of property in Florida and building this experimental city. And it was going to be the most amazing thing. And then something happened where it didn't become a reality. Are you on the edge of your seat?
I don't need the whole seat. I'm always sitting on the edge, John, with you. So what you're saying is something happened.
Yes.
It was like late in the game.
It was.
It was a late term development.
Yes. Yes.
So like almost 9 months in.
Yes.
You decided to pull the plug on this.
Actually, Walt Disney died in 1966. He died, and the original concept of Epcot was abandoned by the Walt Disney Company because it was just unrealistic.
Luckily, no one pulled the plug on him. And the freezer that he's in, he didn't really die. He's cryogenically frozen.
Correct.
Just Ted Williams' brain. And yes, God bless technology.
God bless technology, and we'll
and
see.
What is liquid nitrogen? So it keeps people.
I think Elon's going to bring Walt back someday, so we just got to hang around long enough to see it happen. But so Walt Disney died. The ideas of this experimental prototype community of tomorrow were abandoned. But what happened was that Walt Disney's brother took over the company after he died, and he went forward to continue building Walt Disney World in Orlando. They built that up. But what was interesting is they took many of the ideas, many of the concepts that were supposed to be in this Epcot. They brought him into Disney World. So they ended up surviving and becoming major elements in the design of the Walt Disney Resort. Some of those things are the monorail. So we think of the monorail as, oh, it's always been part of Disney. Well, that was actually part of that original experimental prototype community of tomorrow.
Parker, that means one rail, mono. One rail. What I'd be fascinated to know, because this is the first time I'm learning this, is that Epcot's an acronym. Put a comment if you knew that, or if you're today years old like me and are just learning that Epcot is actually an acronym.
It's actually an acronym. Yeah.
I always get a little smarter with you here.
Oh, that's good. Yeah, no, I try to.
I didn't mean that in a bad way. Like, you're so dumb, you make me look smart. I meant I actually learn from you.
Well, that's part of.
I know how sensitive you are. You were about to take that the wrong way.
Part of this podcast is to learn and entertain. So hopefully you learn something and you're entertained along the process. So the monorail was one of the concepts that made it into the Walt Disney World Resort. And then this thing called the utilidor. Do you know what a utilidor is? Yeah, it's kind of a funny name, but...
Are they like forceps?
No.
It's a utilidor, like one of those doors in Star Trek that just opens when you walk through and...
No, it stands for a
utility door.
Corridor. It stands for a utility corridor, and all of Walt Disney World is built on tunnels.
It sounds like it could also be like a designer dog.
Yeah, it could be.
Like a Labradoodle. Like legitimately, we got one of our previous dogs was part Border Collie, part Lab. Our neighbor's Border Collie and their Lab had puppies,
Yeah.
and like we took him to the vet, and they asked the breed. I said he's a mutt, and they're like, "Oh no!" When I told them it was a Border Collie and a Lab, they're like, "Oh no, it's a Borador." I'm like, "A what? A
Corridor.
utilidor? A Borador? Like, no, he's a mutt. He looks like a Lab, but he's half and like no." So a utilidor would be like a Labrador and a something. It really does sound like it'd be a designer dog.
Right, it does. But actually, what it is utility corridor. And you may not know this, but Walt Disney World is built on a large group of tunnel systems underneath it where everything is moved. The people are moved, the products are moved, trash is moved, everything is moved without anyone.
Not people, John, they're cast members.
What's
they're
that?
Cast members. They're not people.
Yes, cast members.
They're
not
cast
people.
members. They're just playing a role in those underground tunnels.
Correct. But that survived. That concept survived. And of course, in 1982, Walt Disney World, they actually opened up the Epcot Center, and the Epcot Center is what it is as people know it today. It's a park that has it has these countries you can walk around. It has these pavilions sponsored by major companies, but it's not what
capitalism.
Exactly, but it's not exactly what Epcot was planned to be. It turned into a park, but eventually it turned into a very successful park with like 12 million visitors a year. And the other thing is that, and you may not know this, but Disney did eventually open up its own city, its own town called Celebration, and that is a planned community. It's in Osceola County, Florida, and it is. They opened it up in 1996. It has about 7,500 residents, and it is probably closer to the resemblance of what the experimental prototype community of tomorrow would be. So,
fun fact: when you're driving in and you're not quite in like the city limits of Celebration, you can, if your windows are rolled down. So you know how like if your windows are rolled down in West Virginia and you're in Appalachia, you'll hear banjos.
Right.
If your windows are rolled down on your way into Celebration, Florida, you hear that Kool in the Gang song.
That is true. They have it on loudspeakers.
Celebrate good times. Come on. Do 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 do. You hear that?
You do. Parker, please don't delete this one. This is a good episode.
Done that. Got the T-shirt.
So they didn't, they didn't end up opening Celebration, which is very similar to the concept. So basically, in 1960. Walt Disney had this idea, and it never really came to fruition, right? I mean, parts of it, came out in Walt Disney World in 1971. Part of it is in the Epcot Center in 1982, and part of it's in Celebration that opened in 1996. So the point is that sometimes our plans as business leaders, they don't come to fruition. Sometimes they, things get, things take the wrong turn, right? But eventually they do spur other ideas, and they do spur other concepts, and they do spur other avenues for business. So I think, as business leaders, we got to keep creating, we got to keep exploring, we got to keep coming up with new ideas. And eventually maybe, those ideas will end up in our business. And it may not look like what we thought it would look like. And I think that's a really important lesson. That's why I picked them as a X Factor city. Yes. You have your hand up.
Question.
Yes.
Do you think? I mean, obviously, I'm biased, and this is my opinion, my humble but highly accurate opinion. Do you think? Because I think Epcot, as we know it today, turned out to be a better fit for Disney World. Like it's to me, it's the cherry on top of everything else. It is that wonderful attraction at the park that's sort of for all ages. And it might have turned out better having, the Epcot attraction at Disney World than if he actually had the experimental Planned Parenthood prototype City of Tomorrow, whatever was the acronym.
Right.
Like instead of having the actual city, having that really cool attraction where you can kind of go all around the world and see different things and experiment with different foods and whatever. Like it actually turned out better
Yeah, it could.
to
You
me.
could be argued that you could also say that how could he have made money with the original concept, right?
That's why I think this turned out better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's
how
going
to
to
put a
design and
gift
build
shop.
a city, you
Yeah,
know. So I think you're right. I think the what it eventually became was something very successful, and the ideas spurred other ideas, and so I think sometimes we have to abandon some of our plans, or we have to morph our plans in business to be successful. And I think this is a great example of that. And I think it was a grandiose plan, and it was probably never going to see the light of day, but it did spur some other concepts and some ideas that became a reality. So, and that happens in our businesses all the time.
yeah. There's that old saying, "Man plans and Bill Gates laughs." I think it's an old Yiddish saying.
I think that is Yiddish.
Or was
Yeah.
it? No, man plans and God laughs. Sorry. Yes.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. But you think
Yeah.
about it, some of the products that we use every day were not the first iteration of that product. I mean,
Oh,
WD,
toothbrush, for example.
the toothbrush.
Yeah. It was originally invented in Maine.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it would have been called anywhere else. It would have been called the teeth brush. Like the first iteration of it was not pretty, and then they had to adapt it for the other 49 states. You know.
I always think that WD-40 was, it took them 40 attempts to get to that design that actually worked very well.
Yeah.
So,
Post-it notes. 3M was trying to make something ultra sticky, like an ultra sticky tape.
Yeah.
And it came up with these temporary little notes because the adhesive wasn't
it wasn't good enough
for it to be. And that's their best-selling item, company-wide.
Yeah. So sometimes our plans don't work out, but they can spur other ideas and other concepts that can be extremely successful. So that's why that's an X Factor lesson. It's a city that never existed, but we had the lessons endure.
Sometimes you have to abort your plans.
Yes.
Yeah.
Sometimes you do.
And they give birth to new ideas, John.
What
I can't argue with that logic.
You can't. Oh.
What's kind of crazy to me is that Epcot, it took nearly 3,000 designers and 4,000 construction workers to build the first phase of Epcot.
Wow.
And it also took 54 million cubic feet of dirt to excavate it all.
Wow. That's as much dirt as that probably exists on the Clintons if they could ever dig it up.
Yeah. That's more dirt than on Epstein Island or on the plane. So
that's my city. The city that never was is my city, my X Factor city. So, Coach Brew, do you have a city that never was or a city that is?
No, my city is definitely alive and well.
Aha, that's good to hear.
And has a very strong heartbeat.
Oh, okay.
A rhythmic heartbeat.
Like musical rhythm?
Yeah, I'm for those of you who don't know, I'm a professional speaker. I have spoken in all 50 states. I mean, 47 of them, I was just stopping and asking for directions. But technically speaking, I've spoken in all 50 states. So I'm well traveled in this country. And my favorite state that I've spoken in is the state of confusion. Wait, I'm not Joe Biden. You know the thing. Seriously, my favorite state that I've spoken in is Tennessee.
Good state.
And there are these other cities that I've traveled to in other states. They don't seem to be known for any one thing. Chicago, you could say, oh, Chicago's a really good food city. It's also a great place to be murdered. And it has 2 airports and the elevated train system and some museums. There are 2 baseball teams, a really bad football team, a basketball team that used to be good.
Yeah.
And so, It's not a targeted specific. It's a lot of wandering generalities. You could probably say that for a lot of other places. Los Angeles, New York City, Boston, Milwaukee,
Baltimore.
Minneapolis, wherever, Seattle, Dallas, But there is one city that has a very specific message, and the branding is crystal clear. Like Seattle, you might think Starbucks. You might also think what, John?
Chaz? Oh, no. Pike's Place Fish.
Yeah, you're throwing the fish across the counter.
Well, they throw the fish. Yeah.
You might think a lot of other things are grunge bands, Nirvana from there, right?
Yeah.
But speaking of music, there's only one city that is a brand unto itself, and that is the Music City. And what would that be? What's the Music City, John?
It's got to be Nashville.
Nashville, yes. Both the residents and the visitors know Nashville as a music city. There is what I like to refer to as a collective passion about music. I love country music because the song lyrics just speak to me. But it's more than just country music. Country music's great, but they cater to all genres of music. If you are a session musician, if you're a songwriter, Nashville's the place to go. Why, you might ask, do these song lyrics speak to me? Well, it's lyrics like I miss my ex, but my aim's improving. Been so miserable since you're gone, it's like you're still here. Thank God she's gone. It's very philosophical and deep, Yeah. In all seriousness, so there is that collective passion in just about every fiber of the city's being. It loops back to music. Music Row is where it's literally a row of office buildings where all the record labels are located downtown the city. There's the Grand Ole Opry, the Country Music Hall of Fame, Bass Pro Shop even at the mall. The Country Music Association, International Bluegrass Music Association, as well as several other genres, have their headquarters there. When you travel throughout the city, what do you see? You see bike racks in the shape of musical notes and giant rockabilly microphones.
Yep.
And right when you thought you saw it all, my last trip there, I thought I'd seen it all when it came to music. The Nashville Sounds is the name of the baseball team.
Yes.
I went to a parking garage to get my car, and I was trying to figure out, which level am I on? Am I on level 1, 2, 3, 4? The levels aren't numbered. They're named after famous musicians. No, there isn't a Billy Ray Cyrus level to the parking garage.
Dang it.
Marshmallow isn't there either. But, every aspect, every little detail and flavor about that city loops back to one thing.
Yeah.
And I think music is the one thing we can all agree unites us.
So let me ask you a question.
It's entertaining, it's healing, it's educational, it's fun, it's serious.
Why are there so many bachelorette parties in Nashville?
Because they invented that bar that you can pedal with bicycle pedals on the bar stools and pedal it all over downtown.
Have you ever done that?
I am proud to say I've never done that.
No, I haven't.
And never will do that.
I will do it too. Yeah, I haven't done it, but I want to do it.
Never done that, and I never will.
Oh, you never will? I'd do it.
Oh, we will. We will.
If I could sip bourbon while you two jabronis pedal, and I could just tell you to pedal faster and chat up like a really cute bartender, I would do that. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing it.
We'll do that. That's fine. But I think they just seriously, bachelorette parties. People love live music, so they can go have drinks. They can bar hop. What's the name of that street where all the bars are on, John?
Broadway. I'm usually just riding up and down Broadway on my old horse Leroy when I go.
You should save a horse, John. Ride a cowboy.
We should save a horse.
No, I just think they love to peddle those things and have their bachelorette party there because they can go bar hopping and you can get live music every night of the week in probably about 400 different places. There'll be people.
It's really amazing, and not only are there bars and there's music, there's record stores, there's cowboy boot shops, and it's just all around the theme of music and especially country music everywhere you go. And I think. I don't know that they started off to be that way, but I think the city has done a really good job of just promoting itself to be this is our personality. We are the Music City. We embrace it, and everything about it is the Music City. And I think that's when you think about a company, sometimes it's hard to figure out what a company stands for, what their true mission is. What is I don't know, take a big, conglomerate, like an IBM today. What do they stand for? I have no idea. Right. I mean,
and a lot of them have gotten political.
Yeah. They've gotten political and what have you. And they're chasing different things, like what is General Electric really into nowadays? Well, it used to be power.
Plummeting stock.
What's that?
Plummeting stock, I think, is the correct answer.
Yeah. So it's good to see a city embrace one theme, one idea, one concept, and just everywhere you turn, you're seeing that music theme, and I think they've embraced it. And I think as a company, you should embrace your one thing that you're known for, that you're and stick to that and be really good at that. And I think Nashville does a really good job at that.
Yep. Travel and Leisure ranked it the number one favorite city for live music, concerts, and bands. Rolling Stone said it's America's best music scene. Like, it for one. It's got one asset that it just leverages from the time you get into town to the time you leave, 24/7. There's uncompromised clarity around what its value proposition is. You can't say that about many things or places,
Yes, I just typed into Google. Google's fun this way.
I see you smirking about something, and I figure you were Googling.
I did. I put is Nashville.
We have a show producer who could do that for us, allegedly.
Well, he's busy. I don't know what he's doing, but he's busy. So I put in is Nashville, and I let Google come up with it. So is Nashville open? Is Nashville Central Time? Is Nashville safe, which is good? Is Nashville a good place to live? Is Nashville over? And is Nashville hot chicken spicy? So anyways, is it open? I think it's open.
It's open.
Yeah.
And it's spicy.
It is spicy. Have you had the hot chicken, Coach?
I have. I've had it on waffles. It's delicious.
Yes, it is good.
You don't call it hot chicken and waffles. You call it Nashville hot chicken and waffles. You call it Nashville hot chicken and waffles in L.A. You call it that in Chicago. You call it that in Dallas. You call it that in New York, Boston, Atlanta, Miami. You call it Nashville hot chicken and waffles.
Mm-hmm.
It's well branded, How well branded is it? Well, there's a TV show about singers, songwriters called Nashville. At least there was. TV show about a music scene. Like, it isn't enough to have a real music scene. You have to have a reality TV show about real music. Like, it's amazing.
It's a great place. It's fun to visit, and I enjoy going every time. I actually lived in Tennessee for a little bit of time, just south of Nashville, so I enjoyed
Where?
a lot of. I worked in Smyrna, south of.
Okay.
So I lived for about 2.5 years. Lived south of Nashville. Used to go into Nashville on the weekends. Had friends come in, and we'd always go downtown and have a good time. So
on your old stud Leroy.
On my old stud Leroy, yes. But I tell you what, traffic in Nashville sucks.
Yeah, there's
really
something like 10,000 people moving to Nashville every month or something crazy like that right now.
Yeah.
And the local hate that.
Another fun fact about Nashville and Tennessee in general, Nashville is the number one city for buying products for my company, Peak Demand. So we are the number one supplier of electrical components to the city of Nashville and to the state of Tennessee. We're number one in the state of Tennessee, and we crush the competition in Tennessee. I don't know why, but they love us over there, and we love them. So
they're big fans of Max Power.
They are a big fan of Max Power.
Hands down, your best higher since you started that company. He
Oh,
was
100%.
your greatest asset.
He
Um,
absolutely is. Yes.
Don't be an ass to your asset, John Rennie. Know where your bread's buttered. Right?
Never. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Another funny fact about Nashville, just look this up. This what I've been doing is, so I guess there is a restroom top bathrooms in America chart. I didn't know this, and Nashville got named America's best restroom. I guess there's a men's restroom at the historic Hermitage Hotel.
The Hermitage.
Yeah,
It's
and
number one for going number 2.
yeah, it got ranked. Literally, it was named America's best restroom. Interesting.
So that's music to my ears, Parker. Thank you.
On that
Hey,
note,
this the takeaway with all this is like advertisements and a fancy logo isn't enough. You need to be known for something at your core from top to bottom. You know, from your restroom to your boardroom, from
like
the
that.
penthouse to the outhouse.
oh, look at
You
you.
need to be well branded and known for one thing. What's that core value proposition you offer? Are you number one when it comes to number two? I didn't think so.
Yeah. Well, that's a good T-shirt there. If we ever get our merch store opened,
Yeah.
we're number one.
Well,
Fun fact: there is a porta potty company up here in Maine,
Yeah.
and their name is Blow Brothers, and their slogan is "We're number one in the number two business." I am not kidding when I tell you that.
I kinda
Blow
look-
Brothers.
I'm looking them
Oh,
up, dude. Well, I
nice.
wonder what their sign looks like. Blow
I think their name is written in script, if I'm not mistaken.
Blow Brothers.
Yeah, that's hey, I mean, you know what? Hey, we sit here and we laugh at companies that handle porta potties, but guess what? They make money, you know?
Yeah,
they make a lot of money handling other people's.
Tell that story. You guys are in North Carolina. You're never going to forget Blow Brothers being number one when it comes to number two.
Right, exactly.
Do they
Yeah.
put like on their porta potties? I just saw one thing pop up and it said "Blow Bros." It has
Yeah.
2 people.
Yeah.
Well, you know, why not? Someone's got to be in charge of that blue juice stew.
What goes on in that porta potty? That's Blow Bros. What's it say on the door? That's where you go to.
I don't know.
Right?
Who knows?
There you have it. There it is, my friends. This has been the X Factor Podcast. Episode number, the lost episode.
The lost
it doesn't
episode.
have a number. It's just the lost episode. Parker, if you manage to not f this up and delete this one again, don't give it a number. Just call it the lost episode. Okay?
All right.
The lost episode.
The lost episode. Both times we've recorded it, it's been brought to you by our friends at Bottom Gun Coffee.
Yes, absolutely.
BottomGunCoffee.com. It is a coffee company founded by and operated by submariners, submarine veterans, the
Yes.
U.S. Navy. John's brothers, so to speak, his brothers in arms, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, it's you know, it's one thing to understand, you know, all the different branches of the military, but the submarine community is one that we spend a lot of time under the ocean, keeping watch. And one thing we
Real
need
talk,
is a lot of coffee.
Real talk here for a minute.
Yeah.
You put protein powder. Have you ever put protein powder in your coffee?
No.
You never made like a protein shake and put coffee in it?
No.
Like coffee beans? You never like put
No.
like made a shake and then put coffee beans and stuff and cut them up in there?
No.
Actual coffee. So first, Parker, I asked him if he ever put protein powder in his coffee. Then I asked him if he ever put coffee in his protein shake. Like poured the coffee in.
Oh.
I would think, John, that those two things would, in your world, would pair very nicely.
You know, it's funny that you say that because I actually think, you know, because I love coffee, right? I drink black coffee. I drink a lot of pre-workout. I drink a lot
Black
of
coffee matters.
Yeah. It does. I drink a lot of protein powder, usually a vanilla whey isolate, and
Yep.
then I like bourbon.
Shades Away. That's you. 50 Shades Away.
50 Shades of Grey. And I like bourbon. So, but I never combine the four in any way, shape, or form. But I do. And, we almost have to add in a fifth one. I drink a lot of Diet Mountain Dew lately. So I don't know.
I think we mentioned this in a non-Lost episode. I
Yes.
think we need to have bourbon flavored protein powder or bourbon flavored pre-workout.
I'm on board with that. I am on board with that.
So let's
And we
not,
could even do
let's not
coffee
talk about
flavored.
that. Let's not talk about that anymore.
Right.
Because we'll tip somebody off. They'll steal the idea. Kind of like my idea for protein got stolen.
Yeah. Yeah.
So like now we're rambling. This is part of the outtakes.
Yeah.
I had the idea for protein, like all the meathead lifting bros.
Yeah.
Instead of protein powder, they did protein powder and bromino acids. And it turns out that the Situation, the guy from the Jersey Shore who's known as the Situation, founded a company called protein powder, and he does bromino acids. So it just goes to show you, if you talk about these things too much, someone's going to steal your idea.
Yep.
What was his name? Nick? Was it Nick from the Jersey Shore? What's his name?
I thought it was Mike. Wasn't it Mike?
Mike. Yeah, the Situation. Mike.
Yeah. I don't know Jersey Shore very well. My son does. They watched every episode, which I don't understand why, but
no, they're bros.
Well, that's true.
What do we want?
Can I say one thing, Coach Brew, as we're talking about ways to support this show? Obviously, go visit our sponsors, Bottom Gun Coffee, but also you can look for. You can purchase any one of our books. Coach Brew's got 13 books that he has written, all on leadership performance. And I've written 2 books, but one way you can support the show is actually go to our websites and buy some of our books.
Yep.
So this is a great book. John's latest is Beyond Stadium Status, which is one of my favorite. And then my latest book is all in the same boat. I encourage people, if you want to support this show, if you like what you're hearing, if you want to encourage us, go buy some of our books and go to our websites, buy the books. And we love to get you to get these books and improve your business leadership. So
and we love to engage with our audience.
We absolutely do.
Do you have an X Factor topic you would like to suggest?
Yes. Yeah, we got some fun ones coming up, right? We heard some new fun suggestions we had.
Yeah.
I had some thoughts. So we've heard things like X Factor leadership styles you mentioned, yard games, board games. I had one kind of concept like, what's one of the X Factor marketing campaigns that we remembered throughout history? What are some of the biggest marketing campaigns?
Yep.
What are some of the biggest? What's an X Factor? Product flop? Or is this? It can really be anything. But challenge us. I mean, we did Disney princesses. If we can do Disney princesses, we pretty much, you can't stump us.
No.
You cannot stump us.
You can try.
Yeah.
We're throwing down the gauntlet. Laying down. Yep. Do you lay down the gauntlet? Throw down what do you do?
You throw down the gauntlet.
Yeah.
Right, we're throwing down the gauntlet.
You lay down the law. We're
laying down the law and throwing down the gauntlet and throwing the baby out with the bathwater.
Correct. Yes. Somebody must have done that for that to be a thing.
You know where that adage comes from?
No.
So here, a fun little history lesson. While we're on the outtakes and you're listening to this, as I educate you about that expression, go ahead and leave a comment, thumbs up, hit the notification bell, subscribe, tell all your friends, tell all your enemies, tell complete strangers about this podcast. So the way baths used to work when there's like a water shortage, it might have been it's probably even before the Great Depression, but they would draw a bath, a tub of water, and the man of the house would take the first bath, then the wife, and it would go seniority system. The oldest child, second oldest, the middle kid, and then the younger one, and then the baby. And you would use the same water.
That's gross.
And then when they're about to empty the tub out, someone would say, hey, don't throw the baby out with the bath water. That's really where it comes from.
Aha. You'd think you'd want the cleanest person to go first, not the dirtiest.
Who is the oldest, the eldest? It went by seniority. The father went first, the man of the house. He
Who's
may not
probably the
necessarily
dirtiest.
be, not necessarily the dirtiest. It depends how freaky his wife is, right? She might be the dirtiest.
We did it. We went through a whole episode without, or we almost got through a whole episode without saying the word freaky, but we got it in there. So that's outstanding.
Freaky, freaky all night long. What movie? You don't know that one, do you?
I don't think so.
Freaky, freaky all night long.
Sounds like The Hangover, but I could be wrong.
You're close. You're close.
In that genre?
Honeymoon in Vegas with Sarah Jessica Parker and Nicolas Cage. Remember, she goes off with that older gentleman she met in the casino, and Nicolas Cage gets in the cab and he's trying to find the guy's mansion. And the cab driver said, "Oh, they just left. I just gave them a ride or whatever." Like, he didn't speak good English. And she's like, she's at his house, and it's going to be freaky, freaky all night long.
Wait, what movie was this again?
Honeymoon in Vegas.
I have not seen that movie.
Sarah Jessica Parker.
Hold on.
Okay.
Hey, Coach Brew, you're actually right. That's what he's about to say.
I don't think I've seen this.
Oh, wait. I don't think you've seen it either. It's probably from before you were born.
1992.
Before you had electricity.
Yeah, that was before I was born.
Freaky, freaky all night long.
Well, Coach Brew, you got anything else?
I think it's more than enough for a lost episode. We're making up.
I think we brought
the
this back
original
pretty
lost
good.
episode.
Yeah, I think we brought this back pretty good. I don't remember how good it was, but I think we're right there.
Well, the old one was aborted and left for dead, and it's out in a dumpster somewhere. Maybe Parker is selling it for parts on the black market. I don't know, but I feel like we gave birth to something better, kind of like Epcot.
Oh Lord! We do have mostly women that watch this show, and I'm afraid that's going to change.
I think they appreciate my sophomoric humor.
I do think they do.
And they wonder, like, how can Coach Brew weave some sort of pun into this particular topic that Jon Rennie has shared with us.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
I think they do appreciate it.
Yeah. I'm going to shut my mouth now because it's my body and it's my choice.
I like that. Well, this has been the X Factor podcast. If you like this podcast, please subscribe and share and jingle our buttons, push our knobs, give it a thumbs up. And thanks for listening to the X Factor podcast. We'll be back next week, hopefully, if we don't delete this episode.
Guys, are you tired of feeling sluggish and out of shape, falling behind the competition? Are you losing critical performance when and where it matters most? Well, I felt the same way before I started listening to the X Factor podcast. Now I have more energy, more stamina, and more success in the bedroom.